tonight I have a very special topic, and I can only really talk about it right now because Harley's in bed. Not really. I mean, I can talk about anything in front of her because she doesn't know really anything yet. Um, she knows hi and bye and a few other choice words, but that's about it. So Harley is sleeping, thankfully, which means I get to enjoy my hot chocolate and hopefully chat to all of you guys a little bit about something that I've been thinking a lot about. So, for those who don't know, who are tuning in just because I happen to be live and you stumbled across me, I'm Zoe. And Harley is the little one who's sleeping, who's gonna be a year and a half soon. I don't know where the time has gone. Hi, Mandy! Yay, you're tuned in. So I wanted to talk to you because my very close friend, who's actually Harley's godmother, Stacy, is pregnant, and she's finally announced on Facebook, so I can say that. I'm not spilling the beans on someone else's secret. Um, oh, this is really good hot chocolate, Mandy, by the way. I've added marshmallows, and Dean laughed at me because they weren't even mini marshmallows. They're like giant marshmallows, and I don't even care. Like, they are amazing. Um, Anyway, so Stacy's pregnant, and I'm really, really excited for her. And like, it's so funny because when I was pregnant, I don't know, like, maybe it was because I was a first time mom, and as much as it was planned and I was excited and all of that, you know how people say, like, I already love your baby? Like, I didn't understand that. But now that Stacy's pregnant, I'm like, I already love your baby. And it's just bizarre. It is so weird for me, like, to already love this tiny creature that's coming into the world. And I had this whole thing where I thought, like, you know, it was kind of making me broody knowing that she was pregnant. And I am still a little bit broody, like I won't even lie. I won't even lie. Like Stacy being pregnant has made me be like, "Oh, I want to be pregnant too." And then I remember that like I honestly didn't enjoy being pregnant. Like I'm not one of those beautiful glowing pregnant people. I am not a happy pregnant woman. Like, there are some people who are like, oh, I just am so in love with the life growing inside me. I was like, there is an alien inside me, and I hate this. And that was my pregnant life. And yet now, seeing Stacey pregnant, I'm like, I really want a baby. Like, I really, really want to grow a little life inside me again. Um, which is the weirdest thing. Like, where does that feeling come from? I have no idea. Hey, Lil Ma! Sorry for the delayed reaction. I was just like mid-thought, so... I know, Liz, but I mean, people who have had a baby, like you know what I mean. It's beautiful and amazing in theory, but the actual physicality of feeling gross and sick and uncomfortable and tired and like heavy, and you can't have a drink, and you can't do this, and you can't like, and then people judge you. Like I remember going in for sushi and people giving me like this look like, you're not allowed sushi, and it's like, my doctor says I'm allowed sushi, so shut up. Um, but I mean, it was not fun being pregnant, and yet looking back now, I'm like, oh, I don't remember any of that. I just want to grow a little life inside me and be pregnant and big, like, oh, it's so beautiful to like, and then people get to give you stuff and get presents and all this stuff, but the presents aren't for you, the presents are for the baby, which is also like a different feeling. Like you actually really love getting presents for your baby so much more than you do getting presents for yourself. But it's still like, I'm thinking, oh, presents. I'm like, it's not like someone's buying me clothes. They're buying adorable baby clothes that I'll love and the baby will wear for like 30 seconds in their whole life. And then they'll outgrow it. And then that's it. But I still really want to do all of that again. So it made me think, like, okay, when do I want baby number two? Because I sort of have no doubt in my mind that I really, really want baby number two. Like, and I'm broody, so let me kind of try and lay down the law for myself so that it's not like, I want a baby now. It's like, no, I don't want a baby now. I just really want a second baby. But when? So my first concern, obviously, is Harley. Like, I totally get the argument for people who say, like, have all your babies really close together because then you're back in the workforce, and when they're out of nappies, you're done with nappies forever, and all of that. I don't think I can do that. Like, I honestly don't think I can deal with two children in nappies at the same time. And more power to the people who can. But, like, I think I have to wait. Like, I'm thinking I wait till Harley's, like, 3. This is in my head. Now, obviously, Mother Nature does whatever she wants to do. Like, things happen. But the goal would be to wait until Harley is 3. And then then go off the pill and start trying, so that hopefully by the time baby number 2 would, be ready and would arrive, Harley would be out of nappies and sleeping more, better, all the time. Please, please, just let Harley sleep, and then I can have another baby who will ruin my sleep forever, and I'll never sleep again. So that's kind of my big thing, like, well, that's just it, Mom. Like, so my brother and I are 4 years apart, and that worked really, really well for us. And, like, also, just from a financial standpoint, like, then by the time Harley is ready for, like, college, university, whatever, I don't have 2 kids in college at the same time. Like, that, I don't know, like, financial-wise has got to be a nightmare. And just in general, like, schooling should be a bit easier, like, at least have a few years separation between them, and also less rivalry, I would hope, but still close enough together that they can kind of be friendly and nice to each other. And also just stuff like, Harley already is really good with, like, directions and helping and stuff. Like, not great, let's be honest. Like, she's a year and a half. She's not, gonna be cooking dinner for us or making me coffee in the morning anytime soon. But at least it's the type of thing where I can say, like, oh, can you go get this? And she actually understands and, like, goes and retrieves stuff, like a dog, I suppose. But it's that kind of thing where, when baby number 2 comes, it would be really nice to have Harley around to be like, Harley, can you get a nappy? Can you get wipes? Can you throw this away? Watch your brother for 2 seconds while I, pee or whatever. And not that she's gonna prevent catastrophe, but, if, like, they're sitting on the couch together, she can make sure he doesn't fall off, or probably sitting on the floor together, for safety's sake. But at least there's, like, a bit of discretion or whatever. Boy or girl, I don't know, like, please, it's not like I have a switch that I can, like, tick. I don't know. I would really like a boy. I'd like one of each, but having a girl has been so wonderful that it's not going to be like, this girl, so I'm happy either way, but I would really, really like to have one of each, because, everybody says they're so different, like, that have, the way boys are growing up is so different, and also when they're older it's so different, so I would really, I'd like to experience both, but, I mean, it's not like I'm going to be disappointed to have a girl. I just kind of really want a second one. It doesn't really matter. Although I do really want to get to use my boy name. So that would be cool. Like, I don't know what name I would go for with a girl. Not that I need to start brainstorming now. I mean, I have, obviously, but I don't need to just yet. So I have time to think of names and all those things. But I do think it's one of those things where, like, I can understand now how, yes, Quinn is one of those names. Little Harley and Quinn. Oh, Harley Quinn. But I can see now how, like, groups of friends all fall pregnant together. Like, how you kind of have, like, the first person gets pregnant, and then within a few months the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and then, like, there's a break, and then and then it, like, starts up again. But I also realize how quickly it goes and how so much of it becomes a blur. There's a mom at Harley's school who has this, I mean, to me, newborn, but, like, the child is, I think, 6 weeks old now, or no, she said she's older now, like 9 weeks old. I look at this tiny, tiny creature, and I'm like, Harley was never that small. Meanwhile, she was smaller, she was prem, she was, like, this tiny, tiny little thing. And now she's a toddler, and now she tells me no, and I ask if she's tired, and she rubs her eyes and then says no and runs away. But I mean, she has a personality now, and she can do things now, and she eats food, and, all these things that are so normal in my life now, and I kind of look at this little blob of a tiny baby, and I'm like, how were they ever so little? How did I forget she was ever so little? Now I just carry her around and throw her on my hip and throw her in the baby carrier and, plan for her to walk, and then she doesn't, and then, we kind of carry on with our shopping excursions. And you look at these tiny babies and you're like, I want one. They're just so little. Like, they're just so little. You forget. Like, you absolutely forget how tiny a baby is when they come out. Which also, they're monstrous when you actually think about the birth process. Like, let's not even lie here, please. Like, when you are pregnant and you have to, like, actually think about how this child is going to come out of you, it's any size is too big. But they really are tiny and little and perfect, and then they just grow and grow and grow and grow. And you just never sleep again. Maybe that's the other thing. Maybe that's why I forget so much. Maybe it's like sleep deprivation amnesia. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm coining it as a thing. Because you sleep so little, and then all of a sudden your child is a toddler. And you're just like, where did the time go? And you were awake for all of it, but not as awake as you would be if you had actually ever slept. So maybe there's that. Other things to consider, obviously, are finances. Everybody always says there's no good time to have a baby, which is, true. I think you always make a plan as needed. When you're ready to have a kid and you say maybe the finances aren't 100%, but you kind of go for it and you do it anyway. Babies aren't expensive. Like, I know that's a controversial thing to say, but I don't think Harley was that expensive as a baby. Like, we had however many outfits for her, not that many outfits for her. She had nappies, obviously, and wipes and baby cream and bath stuff. But I mean, that was it. Like, really, that was it. She had some toys. Mostly she liked playing with USB cables and things she really shouldn't be playing with. I was very happy that all my pill bottles had child-safe caps on them so she couldn't get in. And she would just rattle them around, and she slept a lot, although it didn't feel that way. Babies themselves aren't that expensive. It's now that she's more expensive. Now freaking school fees are ridiculous, and swimming lessons, and baby meals. Like, I always thought, she'll just eat what we eat, and she does to a certain extent, but it's also really convenient to have, like, ready-made meals on hand, and they're really, really nice, these kids' meals that I buy. But, if you buy enough for the whole month of meal, then that's an extra expense. And breastfeeding was free. Like, I miss that. I miss being like, I'll just eat and she'll be fine, and that's that. Now I have to, like, plan meals with food for her. Yes, no, definitely. Breastfeeding saved me a fortune. Absolute fortune. But it's still like, babies themselves, I think, you have, like, nappies, you have formula, you have expenses, but it's nothing compared to school fees. It's nothing compared to then, like, as she gets older, there's camps and this and that. Like, okay, as an example, I love her school. Absolutely love her school. And they're wonderful, and they deserve a holiday, like, everybody deserves a break. So in July, the school is closing for however it is, 2-3 weeks, and they offer holiday care, and they're like, oh, don't worry, you can send your kid for, like, holiday care, and they'll come, and I mean, it sounds much like what they do anyway. Like, they'll come, and they'll play games, and they'll do crafts, and they have snack, and you can pick them up at 12, and blah, 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 for $100 a day. And I'm like, so I have to pay my normal school fees plus $100 a day. I will make a plan. Like, I will figure something else out, because that's, like, double school fee because she's on holiday. Like, that's not fair. That is not fair. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with her for 3 weeks? Mandy, what do you do for 3 weeks? What do you do? 3 weeks. I'm gonna miss school. Like, I honestly... Like, I remember, so when I was in second grade, well, should have been in second grade, my mom homeschooled us, and I loved it. Like, we read books, and I had, like, a math game that I played, this algebra game, and we watched, like, I think it was the William Kennedy Smith rape trial. Like, I think that was our politics current event-y type thing. And, like, we learned all these cool things and all of that. And my mom was with us all day, every day, for homeschooling. How? Like, I love Harley. I love her so much. And you know what I also love? School. I really love school. I love that she goes, and she eats, and she plays, and she comes home exhausted. She's shattered after school because she has played so much. And then I put her down for a nap, and then she wakes up, and we have our afternoon evening together. What am I going to do without school? How do people do? So this is my other thing. So baby number 2 has to come once Harley is settled in her new school. Now this comes back to our whole like immigration thing. So I am not even going to consider having baby number 2 until we're settled in overseas with a school for Harley and health insurance for me. Like that's required. So yeah, I think waiting until she's 3 is looking more and more likely. I don't know what are you guys thinking? Like, if you have had babies, what sort of age range works for you, or are you considering? Because, like, I just need time for Harley to grow up a little bit, and for her to learn how to sleep properly, and to be helpful and understand as well. Like, that's the other thing is, a baby takes a whole lot of attention and becomes like really the center of everything. And as much as you can make an effort to still include your older child, like, everybody wants to be the baby and the important, loved, attention one. So what do you do? Like, how long do you wait? Like, I don't want to push Harley out of being the baby. I want her to get to be the baby for as long as she wants to be. And then, obviously then she can be the big sister, and that's a different sort of role. But to just push her out of being the baby doesn't seem fair either. So yeah, we'll see when she starts sleeping. Because on the one hand, how am I going to go back to no sleep after I'm used to sleep again? I'm like, I really want baby number 2. But I'm now, like, conditioned to have no sleep. So what am I going to... Exactly that, Betty. Like, how am I going to cope when I don't have sleep? So am I going to... I mean, I know how I'm coping now without sleep. But if I go back to that... And then what if baby number 2 wakes up Harley? And then everybody's awake. And then I never, ever sleep ever again in my whole life. I miss sleep. I really do. And Harley's not even a bad sleeper at the moment. It's just the last few nights that she's been teething and miserable. And then I have such compassion for her. Like, I know she doesn't mean to be up at 2 in the morning crying. Like, she's not like a difficult child in that sense. She's just in pain and unhappy. And then I make her feel better when she pushes her face against mine. But she's doing so well, and so I just think, like, to then push her out of being a baby and have baby number 2 just doesn't seem fair. So that's my plan, is to wait 3 years. But easier said than done, because freaking people like Stacy get pregnant, and then I'm like, I want a baby now. I want a baby now. Well, this is also true, Loma. Like, I was a better sleeper than my brother, so I can only imagine, like, my parents must have had me with dread, like, we're never ever gonna sleep. And then I came along and it was like, oh, she's sleeping. Oh, okay. Like, what a time to be alive. So yeah, so it's definitely a thing though. Like, everybody told me when I was pregnant, they were like, you won't remember how awful it was, and that's a lie. Like, I do remember how awful it was, but I don't care. Like, I remember being miserable while pregnant. I know I had like a traumatic birth experience. I know all those things, and I still want baby number 2. I want one. Like, I want like a little tiny little baby. And I want this time also, like, I'll learn from my mistakes. I'm gonna get a baby carrier first thing, one of those newborn ones. So I'll get like the stage 1 Ubuntu, because I love my stage 2 Ubuntu. So I'll get the stage 1 and have baby like strapped to me, so I can still do dishes and cook, and not that I'll feel like doing any of those things, but I can nurse while walking around and maybe brush my teeth without feeling like I can't brush my teeth because my baby needs me, which will make me feel more like a human. What do you mean, what does Dean feel about another baby? This isn't about him, this is about my feelings. No, Dean, I think Dean wants another kid. We've kind of talked about it, but I think he's like, oi, just wait for a while. Which is what I'm saying too, so it's not like we're disagreeing. But yeah, I think we both really want to wait a bit. But I think he'd also like a little boy. Again, not that you get to choose. But I think there is that whole thing of, dads want a little boy. Meanwhile, the little girl is the one who absolutely wins their heart, supposedly. I don't know. I think both children, any child would win both parents' hearts. But yeah, so I think that he'd like his little son to reenact whatever father-son fantasy he has going on. Um, and for me, I just really would like a son as well, or daughter. I don't really mind. I just really think it would also be so cute, like watching Harley play with a little one and stuff like that. I think would be adorable. I don't know. I just think in my head it sounds really, really cute. So yeah, that's I think my reasons of why I really wanted a child anyway. Like I knew I've been talking for a while about wanting baby number two, but I think that seeing Stacy pregnant and getting to watch her do all of those things that I remember doing were so meaningful. Like finding out the sex of the baby was so like that's when I knew it was real. When I could actually be like, oh, Harley kept me up all night because she was moving while I was pregnant, or you know, oh no, I feel fine. Harley's doing fine. It's not the baby or the mold or whatever. She became a person when I knew that she was a girl. Um, so yeah, I kind of want to go through that again, and I want to go for scans again, and it'll be so different for me this time because I'll obviously be in the States for baby number two. So like go together with my mom and do stuff like that, and do the American way of doing things, which I have no idea how it works there. I mean, I assume, obviously, pregnant people are pregnant anywhere in the world, and birth is birth anywhere in the world. But, obviously it'll be different in the States than it has been in South Africa. And I'm just keen to see what that's like and to build our little family and to be more people. And it's really, what is this urge? Like, I remember years and years ago talking about baby hunger, and like, it's such a biological need. It's like, this is when we're animals. It's like on heat or something. It's like the mating light is on. And I'm like, let's make a person. Let's procreate. Let's keep the species going. So weird. Like, where does that come from? I was not one of those kids, like, planning babies and playing the mom in dress up or whatever. I don't even know what I did in dress up, like when we play house. I don't even remember who I was. Like, it wasn't a predefined role, I guess. But I'm not one of those, like, mommy planning types, and I don't have a Pinterest board for baby number two or something. And yet, here I am, excited and planning and thinking. And I blame friends that fall pregnant because it's contagious. That's what I think. Anyway, I'm gonna have a sip of my awesome hot chocolate now. That is really good. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about pregnant people making me broody and the things to consider before having baby number two. So, it's 1,000-year-old Zoe. So I wasn't the mother, I was already the crone. I think, yeah, so it's stuff like the timing between kids. It's, your own relationship as well, because kids, let's face it, put a hell of a strain on a marriage. So definitely something to consider as well is where you are in your relationship, because every relationship goes through ups and downs, and a baby is not helpful. Like, let's just be clear here. Like, people are like, oh, baby will fix this. No, babies make it so much worse. So make sure everything is 100% solid before having baby number two. Finances as well, and like health insurance, and just all those weird logistics that need to be in place before you bring another human being into the world. That's the other thing I'll have to consider when we're in the States. Like, how am I going to get a South African birth certificate for baby number two if we give birth in the States? So another admin hurdle that we'll have to jump over when we get there. So it's a lot to think about, but I really do think I'm going to wait until Harley is about 3 before we start getting ready to try, so that it ends up being about 4 years in between. Hopefully, knock on wood, everything goes to plan. I don't know, I think a 4-year difference is nice. I think a 3-year difference could be okay, but I just see, I want to be able to give her my complete attention before she becomes, the neglected older sibling who has to fend for herself type thing. Because let's face it, that's the reality of an older sibling. Like, they're loved and they're special, and then they're like, well, go help your sister, go help your brother. And, yeah, so that's my plan. Out of nappies, hopefully sleeping through off the boob, because that's the other thing. Harley is still nursing, so she'll have to be weaned before I even think of having another baby. And I'm sure Dean really just wants some time with the boobs to himself, which, you know, I don't know when my boobs will ever just be mine again. I don't think they ever will just be mine. I think it'll be Harley's boobs, and then Dean's boobs, and then baby number two's boobs, because that's the way these things go. So Harley will need to be weaned and out of nappies and able to understand stuff like what it means to be a big sister. Not that anyone really understands what that means until they're adults and have like grown siblings and go like, oh, this is what a sibling is. Anyway, that's pretty much what I'm thinking. I don't know if any of you have any questions or comments, but that's pretty much where I am in the sort of, damn it, I'm broody, but I have to wait to have baby number two. So I'll just wait and whine a little bit about it and talk about how beautiful it is to be pregnant and completely forget all the awful things that I went through being pregnant. Like, let's just not even think about morning sickness, or I had evening sickness. I just didn't eat dinner ever. And like foods that all of a sudden I couldn't stand, and other foods that I craved. I wasn't like a food craving person, like pickles and ice cream or something like that, but I had so much sushi and so much camembert. Maybe because I'm like just oppositional and my doctor said I could, but also maybe just because that was the taste that I really, really wanted. And I didn't eat any meat except pork, and now Harley's favorite food is pork, like pork bangers and pork chops. So maybe it was her picking the menu all along. And heartburn and just bad skin stuff and feeling gross, and yeah, being pregnant wasn't really that pleasant, but looking back, academically, mentally, I'm like, it was so beautiful and growing a life inside you. Got into those newborn days again. Those were terrifying. And so why am I signing up for this? Why does that biological urge kick in? I don't understand, but it does, and it is what I want one day when Harley's older and everything is settled down a little bit, I will be ready for baby number two. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and apparently there's a way that you can like subscribe, so if I go live again, you get a notification. So click around on the Born Geek page and make sure that you've done that so that you get notified as soon as I'm live, and you can watch me and you can comment and you can be part of the conversation. Thank you so much to everyone for watching and commenting and liking, and you can feel free to share this with your friends. If you know anyone who is pregnant and making you broody, please share with them. Otherwise, if you're considering what you need to think of before baby number two, also feel free to share and be like, look, other people feel this way too. Yay! Thank you so much for watching, and just remember, I will be live again on Wednesday. I'm going to be chatting to you all a little bit about this girl gaming thing that I'm involved in, so definitely you'll want to tune in on Wednesday at 8 p.m. so that you can hear all about my cool adventures in Lady Gaming event. So, bye, have a nice night, chat to you all soon.